And here we are back where we left off, going the other direction on the Van Creek Greenway, Salado Creek Greenway. Here's the street we're about to cross. Do I see any cars coming? No. I'll look again right before I cross, but it looks pretty quiet. It rained. This is the same day that I filmed last week's video, so nobody's out in the rain. So we're just gonna cross the street, and where we left off, Nynaeve told Rand that her medicines couldn't cure Tam, and Tam... Now this is something that I find confusing. Oh, I didn't realize that the creek's over here. I thought it was farther away from this part. Never mind, we didn't need to be all... Well, I've got 2 videos shot this way, that works. Anyway, so... now this is something that I find confusing. Rand tells Bran, the mayor and proprietor of the Wine Spring Inn, that Nynaeve refused to help Tam, and that he brought Tam to him in hopes of finding a solution of some sort. So Bran gives Tam a bed, and then heads off to talk to Nynaeve. Bran comes back to Rand and says that Rand had not told Bran that Nynaeve had refused to help Tam. And I swear he just did. I swear he just did say that Nynaeve refused to help him. But anyhow, so we find out that the only reason the Emmonsfielders... Look, there's a deer. There's a lot of deer in this part of the city. The reason that the Emmonsfielders survived was because it turns out that Moiraine is an Aes Sedai. The Aes Sedai are... We'll get more, embroidery on this later. Oh, and somebody drew what's referred to as the dragon's fang on the door of the Wine Spring Inn, which is a downward-facing teardrop in black. This will be important later. Anyway, so not that it's on the door of the inn, just the shape. So it turns out that the only reason that anybody survived Emmonsfield was because Moiraine is an Aes Sedai. And the Aes Sedai are basically, the magic users of this universe. So he goes and gets... So somebody goes and gets Moiraine, who comes in and says she's exhausted, she doesn't know what she can do, but she'll do what she can. She sits there and gets this meditative pose, and nothing doesn't look like anything's happened, but Rand notices that his dad's breathing easier. So she says that she can't completely cure him with her own power because she's not strong enough and she's tired, but it turns out she has what's referred to as a Sangreal. Sorry, not a Sangreal, an Angreal with her. Sangreals come up later. And she has an Angreal with her, and the Angreal, she's able to use that to boost her power just enough to heal Tam. To heal Tam. She says that she's very fortunate that the Amyrlin was allowed her to have the Angreal. So I know something else happens in this section. Oh, that's what happens. Lan, too many of these characters have one-syllable names. Lan sees the sword that Rand still has belted on, and asks him how a shepherder in the back end of nowhere came to have a heron-marked sword, because in some places, Lan's words, I'm using air quotes, that's the mark of a swordmaster. And I think that's pretty much it. But now it's time for some rambling. Okay, so 2 things. One, I had gotten into an argument with other people on one of the fan boards one time because I saw a lot of Arthurian legend references in the names and things. We haven't met most of the characters, but you got 3 right here. One of them is Rand al'Thor. You got Arthur right there. We've also met Egwene Guinevere. And of course, when I misspoke and called the Angreal a Sangreal, of course, Sangreal is, of course, the Holy Grail. And of course, if you are a fan of that what's-his-face, you got the Sangreal, the real royal blood, but we're not going to do that today. I'm dubious about this. Another thing, I once described myself as having been bitten by a radioactive Doctor Who episode. So at this point, we get a lot of, not just Doctor Who characters, but also my brain casts books and things. And one of them, my mom and I did one for fun because she was picturing the main character. I need to figure out which book it was and find it so I can reread it and talk about it, because it's pretty good. The character was supposed to be a man of short stature, and she was picturing him as Davy Jones from the Monkees. And I'm like, oh, that's interesting. We've got talking about it. We ended up casting the whole book. Anyway, there's somebody coming on the Greenway, so I'm facing this direction. Anyway, so I come by naturally casting books in my head. And Lan tells Rand that, and Lan, of course, is Lancelot. But anyhow, Lan tells Rand that the eyeless guy that was in the cloak that didn't move in the wind was a Myrddraal. And of course, Amyrlin. There's another one, Merlin, right there. But anyhow, onward. And so I always picture the Myrddraal. If you need a reference for my own brain, not the TV show, look up the old classic Doctor Who episode, The Armageddon Factor, and look for a picture of the character known as the Shadow. That is what I picture as a Myrddraal. Further, we also have another case of my brain casting stuff. I don't know if I really have. I have a Nynaeve. She's also from a Doctor Who episode. She's from the last episode with Leela. The name is escaping me at the moment. But it's the last episode with Leela, and Leela goes outside the city on Gallifrey and meets and takes with her a time lady named Rodan. Rodan is Nynaeve. But anyhow, and Moiraine, because she's going to be important, is not a Doctor Who character at all. She is, in fact, Mira Furlan, who played Delenn on Babylon 5. So I guess the show did a pretty good job of capturing the kind of image I see in my head when I picture Moiraine, because I think they look pretty similar. But anyhow, so that's pretty much it for today. I don't know what this is up here. I don't wear my glasses. I only wear my glasses when I drive. And so I'm like wandering around in this kind of vague fog. But I'm enjoying the water. See, there's more water. If we ever come this way again, which we won't, we'll be picking up from here and going onward. There will be no water probably, unless I just happen to decide, you know what, it's raining. Let's go visit the Greenway and take pictures of more water. So that's pretty much it for today, I think. I don't think anything else important happened. I mean, Rand's realizing that the world's bigger than he thought it was, and that a lot of the legends and myths that he's been taught aren't so legendary or mythical. They're real things that really happen to real people. I don't think anything else plot important happens at this point. So I guess we'll leave it here, and I'm not going to listen to this on the way back to my car, because I can't spend all day walking back and forth up the Greenway making videos. But this will take me through, what is it, the 9th and the 16th, right? Is that what I figured? Yeah. So this will get me through the 9th and the 16th, and hopefully by then I'll be able to figure out why my printer's not printing. I'll be able to print out the scripts that I've already written. And we'll be back in the chair starting probably the 25th. I will talk to you later. You know the drill. If you ever happen across this video and think, this person likes this book, I bet this person would like this book, please tell me, because some of them are things I read. I did not like the Sword of Truth, speaking of graphic epic fantasy, I did not like the Sword of Truth books. I couldn't get past the first paragraph, so no, don't even bother. The one with the dragon bone chair, I read that one. I liked it. I don't remember much about it. I'm hip deep in the Stormlight Archive series. So we will pick up from. So that will be what I will hope to accomplish if I ever finish the Wheel of Time books in my lifetime. So this is where we're going to remember this little area here that has these little concrete doohickeys. I don't know what they're called, but the little retaining walls to keep the dirt from spilling onto the greenway, I guess. So we'll remember this spot, and we will pick up from here the next time I'm out this way. Thank you for listening and watching what San Antonio looks like when it's rained recently, and I will see you in the next one. Bye-bye.